Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So our group will talk about movie HACKSAW Ridge. So our group member is 2200180 Hanis binti Muhammad Daud, 2200191 Siti Nur Fatia binti Khalid, which is me, 2200192 Kevin Tren AL Mohana Alfred, and last one 2200194 Kishendran AL Rizwanatan. What we will do is analysis of HACKSAW Ridge movie. First one is story, which is we will talk about introduction and storyline. After that, we will talk about problem identification and solution using 5Y method. Then we will talk about leadership qualities using SWOT analysis. And last one is summary. The movie is about Desmond Doss, who is a conscientious objector. He will not bear any arm or rifle or weapon. The story is about World War II between Japanese and United States. Doss enlists in the United States Army to serve as combat medic. His father, Tom, who is a First World War veteran, is deeply upset by Doss' decision. Doss is placed in basic training under command of Sergeant Howell. He excels physically but becomes a pariah among his fellow soldiers for refusing to handle a rifle and train on Saturday. Howell and Captain Glover attempt to discharge Doss for psychiatric reason under Section 8 but are overruled, as Doss' religious beliefs do not constitute mental illness. They subsequently torment Doss by putting him through grueling labor, intending to get Doss to live on his own accord. Despite being beaten one night by his fellow soldiers, he mercifully refused to identify his attackers and continue training. Doss' unit complete basic training and is released on leave, during which Doss intends to marry Dorothy, but his refusal to carry a firearm leads to an arrest. Captain Glover and Dorothy visit Doss in jail and try to convince him to plead guilty so that he can be released without charge, but Doss refuses to compromise his belief. At his court-martial, Doss pleads not guilty, but before he is sentenced, his father barges into tribunal with a letter from his former commanding officer, which is Brigadier General, stating that his son's pacifism is protected by the U.S. Constitution. The charge against Doss are dropped, and he and Dorothy are married. Doss' unit is assigned to the 77th Infantry Division and deployed to the Pacific Theater. During the Battle of Okinawa, Doss' unit is informed that it will relieve the 96th Infantry Division, which was tasked with ascending and securing the HACKSAW Ridge. During the initial fight, with heavy losses on both sides, Doss saved the life of his squad Smithy, earning his respect. As the American camped for the night, Doss revealed to Smithy that his aversion to holding a firearm stemmed from nearly shooting his drunken father, who threatened his mother with a gun. Smithy apologized for doubting his courage, and both reconciled and become best friends. The next morning, the Japanese launch a massive counterattack and drive the American off the escarpment. Smithy is killed, and Howell and several Doss' comrades are left injured on the battlefield. Doss hear the cries of dying soldiers and return to save them, carrying the wounded to the cliff edge and belaying them down by rope, each time praying to save one more. And after one, he wants to save one more. The arrival of dozens of wounded who had been presumed dead come as a shock to the rest of the unit below. When day breaks, Doss rescues Sergeant Howell and both escape HACKSAW under enemy fire. Captain Glover apologized for dismissing Doss' belief as cowardice and stated that they are scheduled to retake the ridge on Saturday but will not launch the next attack without Desmond Doss. Doss agrees, but the operation is delayed until after he concludes his Sabbath prayer. With reinforcement, they turn the tide of battle. In an ambush set by Japanese soldiers who pretend to surrender, Dos managed to save Glover and others by deflecting enemy grenades. Dos is wounded by a grenade blast, but the battle is won. Dos is lowered from the cliff, clutching the Bible that Dorothy had given to him.
Good evening, ma'am. I am 2200192, Chemical Analytic Mona Alfred. Today, I would like to talk about the problem identification and solution using the 5 why analytical tools. Firstly, why be the squad rejected Desmond and he nearly drafted from joining the army? It is because they felt like he is not able to cope up with them and he was always left behind. They had even set him up and Desmond was bullied in his dormitory. He was beaten up badly, but then when confronted, he said that the bruise caused by the beating was due because he, he slept pretty hard. Secondly, why the squad felt like Desmond will endanger the troop. He did that because he was stern and he stood by a decision that he does not want to hurt people, and that's the reason he joined in as a combat medic. Thirdly, why does Desmond not want to bear the arms? It is because coming from a quiet and skinny kid, Desmond Doss would not want to touch a weapon or work on the Sabbath. He enlisted in the army as a combat medic because he believed in the cause and he also had vowed not to kill. At the same time, the army actually did not want to have anything to do with him. He was always picked on. They said that he just didn't fit into the army's model of what a good soldier would be. Fourth, despite all of that, why he still joins the army if he does not want to kill people? It is because he still wants to serve the country in other ways without killing people at all. He hated weapons and he always wanted to serve the army and serve his country, even though his principles were against it. But we could ask the question, why is Desmond Doss so desperate not to kill people? He hate it is because he, his brother and mother used to be domestically abused and it brings him to hate the artillery. He hated weapons from childhood. According to him, the last time he held a weapon was when his mother asked him to hide his father's 0.45 caliber revolver. His mother feared that his father might kill his uncle, as he had hardly had control over his rage and his anger as well. Why he, his brother and mother used to be domestically abused by his father is because his father was traumatized after joining the army. His father was actually left in Great Depression, Great Depression because he left a lot of his squad mates. He was not really a religious man and he also drank heavily. Why his father was traumatized after joining the army? Many of his friends had been killed in the battlefield, and to make up for that rage, he actually showed it on his family, which is Desmond, his mother, and his brother.
I am 2200180 Hanis Minta Daud, and I would like to present about SWOT analysis. First, strength. Keep remain belief of his faith. He not touch or use any weapon until the end of the war. Next, the weakness, misunderstanding in religious commandments. Desmond Doss' comrades misunderstand him but does not know what he is being through. The opportunities, he never lose the chance to save people. Desmond Doss saved 75 of wounded troops all by himself. And last but not least, threats. The toughest person to lead will always be yourself. No one will push us unless we push ourselves.
Okay, next we're going to move to the summary. I22000194, Kishan Swadan, would like to summarize what we have learned from the movie. So first of all, the lessons that we got from the movie is the army have heroic values. Yeah, usually in every movie there will be a hero, and yeah, in this movie, the hero of the movie is the armies. So they have the faith, a great faith in order to win the battle. So it's like if we don't have hope, we couldn't do much in our life. So hope is a very must in order to achieve something in our life. The army also have heroic values. Heroic values in order is like they have the courage, the braveness in order to pursue the war and so on. They're not afraid of losing, afraid of the enemies. So that's what we show that the heroic values. Moving on next to the responsible and willing to sacrifice. In this film, the armies are mostly, not mostly actually, all of them are really responsible of their job, and they are also willing to sacrifice their life for their country because that's what they do as an army. The next, they also showed that the religion is an antidote to violence but opposite of war. As we know, every religion would like to avoid war. No one is like they want war in their life or in their country. Each and every one of person, human being would like to avoid the war as much as possible. Also, with hope, audience be more critical to understanding the message in the movie. So the film has those useful messages that can be used as learning tools in the real world. Like there are too many lessons, their moral values, their tactics, the friendship of their armies and so on, where we can use as a guideline for our daily life. So that's all the summary for today. Based on the movie, I hope you guys enjoyed what we have presented. Thank you very much for watching this video from behalf of my group members and everyone that is willing to watch this video. Thank you so much.